Hey everybody, it's Peter from Brantford Kia, and today we're looking at the 2019 Kia Forte EX Plus. Now you may have seen me do a video on a white car like this before. That was a pre-production model. It looked very similar from the outside, but now we can get into the nitty-gritty of what actually showed up for production. The pre-production model I showed you would have been a higher trim level. It had leather seats, so it was a different car than this one. So we're going to show you what is on the EX Plus model, which is sort of like a sort of appearance package, a little bit of an upgrade on a lot of visual things over the EX package. Now, if you haven't seen our other videos on this car, we've done a number of them already. We're going to continue to do more. We just did a LX and EX, which is me standing in front of a blue and red car. Those are sort of the basic walk around here. We're going to go a little bit further in depth with this car today, so this may be a little bit longer video, but you'll get a better picture of what these cars are all about. One thing I have to correct is on the previous video and on this car as well, you're going to see dual zone automatic climate control and you're going to see fog lights. Those are part of a 330 car package here in Canada that have sort of the launch edition. So those are like no charge options on these trim levels. You can get dual zone climate control, but it would be the next step up from this car in future models. So if you're not watching this in the very first few weeks that it's out, first few months that it's out, you may find that your EX Plus model may not have that dual zone climate control. And also on our previous video, the EX would have dual zone climate control only in those launch edition cars. So we're going to do a full walk around. We're going to go through a number of features and options. We're going to show you as much as we can, but the big thing we want to know is, what do you want to know still about this car? I'm really excited about this car, so there's lots to tell you, but I'm always going to miss things. I'm always going to tell you things that maybe you need some clarification on. Let us know in the comments below, and also comment with some positive comments. Tell my bosses that you want to see more of these, and we'll make more for you. Finally, we do these videos to earn your business. If you are in the Greater Toronto area, we're hoping to earn your business through, doing these videos for you. So feel free to give us a call, 519-304-6542, Brantford Kia. Now let's step into this car, the 2019 Kia Forte, the EX Plus model. We're going to start at the front of the car. All right, so the front of this car has got a lot to talk about. Kia's really proud of the front of this car. It sort of continues on that family image, and the family image of Kia is the tiger nose grille, and I just noticed some bird pooped on our car, so I'm not gonna touch that. But this tiger nose grille, what they do is it's pinched in the middle, and that's consistent with all of our cars. A lot of people are calling this kind of like the mini Stinger. I've shied away from saying that in my videos here, just because I think it does stand out as its own car, but it certainly has a familial look. It looks like the Stinger, it looks like some of our other cars, and this is sort of where Kia's headed with their styling. Now, there's a couple cool things here. When you're in the driver's seat, you can't see it, but there's a real sort of dip through here and a raise through here. So you get this nice little power bulge that you see in the hood from the driver's seat, which I think looks cool. It's they do that on performance cars. A couple other little unique things. We've got a unique grille down here now. It is a smooth, a bit of a shine to it up front here. And as you move down, this is a chrome, of course, piece. In the EX model, it was not a chromed piece. It was a sort of brushed aluminum kind of look. I'm sure it's plastic, but the look was brushed aluminum. Down here, I've got the fog lights off right now. Again, they don't come in every car, but they do come on this trim level in the launch edition. Down here, you've got more of that piano black trim that sort of matches up here. You've got a solid lip spoiler out front here. Helps with aerodynamics. We can talk about aerodynamics in a second here. But just a sharp look. You are going to see some flickering lights over here. Now, of course, for me, they don't flicker, but LED lights, especially LED marker lights, tend to flicker. And this X pattern here is Kia's sort of standard for the Forte. You may see that through other cars in the future with us. The other thing that's really cool is the headlight itself is an LED headlight. And the thing that I think is cool, and Kia's actually pretty proud of this as well, is most cars have a separate bulb for a high and a low, or separate even housing for a high beam and a low beam. And in our cars, we don't have that. So you have a high beam and low beam in the LED lights. So why does this actually matter? First of all, styling, yeah, it's cool. I think it looks great at night. When the daytime running lights are on, this center light is out and that X pattern is still lit. So that's a recognizable sort of face to the car. But the light itself is cool because projector beam headlights, the way they're sort of shaped, have a really sharp cutoff. So you've got that sharp cutoff when you're looking out, driving behind somebody, you'll see a real sharp line, or if you drive up to your garage door, real sharp line, and that's good for safety. It's also they've got precise control of that beam. That also means they can make a nice bright light, and the LEDs are a nice white light. So you've got that white, expensive look out on the road with these LED lights, and again, the same bulb used for high and low beam means you have high beam that is also an LED bulb. A lot of cars will do a low beam, maybe LED, but the high beam is a separate bulb, and that becomes sort of a more yellowy light. These are quality focused lights in high beam and low beam, so I think that's a really good idea. We're going to open the hood now. We're going to talk a little bit what's under the hood because there's a few different things in this car as well. So I recently had someone upset with me on YouTube because I didn't open the hood on the car, and the reality is on a modern car there's not a lot to see. It's mostly plastic panels, decorative stuff, things that make it look clean, but you don't really see the mechanicals. But the reason I want to talk about the under hood in here is because you're going to see a horsepower number that says 147 horsepower, and you're going to think that's down on power compared to the previous Forte. It is down on power, but there's a few reasons they do that. First of all, the transmission actually makes this a faster car. So although the horsepower number is slower, remember every part of the drivetrain is what matters in speed as well as economy, and the transmission and engine combined together make this a faster car than the previous one. So even though a horsepower number is less, it's still faster, and that also translates to some of its competitors. It may not have the same horsepower as all of its competitors, but it's still a very quick car. So the engine is a 2-liter engine. It is an Atkinson cycle. Now, I can go into the details about that, but basically what you need to know is they generally run Atkinson cycle engines on a hybrid car. So this is not a hybrid car, but Atkinson cycles are known for their fuel economy. What they do sometimes sacrifice when they give you that fuel economy is a little bit of torque. But of course, torque can be amplified through a transmission, and this is a really unique transmission for us. They call it the IVT transmission. Now, if you've heard of a CVT transmission and you've heard car reviewers, you probably hear that they hate CVT transmissions. Well, the reality is I used to be a car reviewer, I used to hate CVT transmissions as well, but things evolve and things change. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Kia guy and I'm promoting our car. I've driven this compared to Honda Civic's CVT. The reason people are going to CVT's transmissions is because they are more efficient. Now, a few things are different in this. The IVT stands for intelligence. It's not just a marketing term, it does work differently, but there are also mechanical differences. A lot of where our competitors use a belt, we use a metal chain. Now, those things may not sound great in the marketing side, but what it means is it's a different physical piece. It also is programmed differently, and at the end of the day, when you're driving this car, all the things that people used to complain about with CVTs, you don't feel. They used to peg the revs really, really high. So let's talk really basically about what a CVT does, how it works, and you may be bored by this, but think of a bicycle with 8 gears on the back, 8 sprockets. It has to physically change between all 8 of those gears. Now to replace all those gears with a cone, and you suddenly have an infinite amount of range anywhere in between there. The belt can slide, or the chain, if it was a bicycle, can slide anywhere in between there. And what that does on this car is it means when you're driving smoothly and economically, you don't feel the shifts. But when you give it power, instead of having the engine rev to a maximum rev and having to just sort of stay there because the transmission can move instead of the engine revving, what you end up with is this car has built-in shift points. So what you can do to gain power or gain speed in this car is the engine on a traditional car revs up and comes down and shifts, revs up, comes down and shifts. A CVT transmission allows the engine to stay in a steady spot and the transmission to move instead. So same idea, but just switching sides. This car has a CVT that works both like a regular transmission and like a CVT. So you get the benefits of that smooth driving, better fuel economy, amplified torque down low because of the way we've geared this thing, and you get the benefit of a normal feeling car. So if you don't know anything about transmissions, it's gonna drive like a normal car. What you will notice is improved fuel economy and improved drivability. We've done we've done a number of things inside the engine transmission to work on noise, vibration, harshness. And again, I've driven this compared to our competitors. We had a nice event where we could test them out honestly for ourselves in front of other competitors, and it's definitely a quiet car, and the transmission works really well. If you tuned me out, the whole point, drive the car, see if you like it. You probably won't even know it's a CVT, and then you can buy it and enjoy it and not worry about what people say about CVTs, because it really has evolved since the early CVTs. Let's move on. We're going to talk a little bit about styling, high strength steel. We're going to move our way to the driver's seat. We're just going to take some time getting there because I want to show you all the details on this video. So we talked about a lot of the styling at the front. I just want to finish off with a little bit more details on the front. We talked about the headlights. Your signal lights, and I'll beep them there, are actually down here, and I like the separation there. It's actually not too far, no different than the old cars used to have them separated, but it just stylistically looks a little different, looks pretty sharp, and I think that works well. While we're talking about the side of the car here, there's actually air vents through here, and a lot of our cars have this, and what that does is it cuts off sharply through there, and it brings air in through this area here. Now there's two benefits to that. One, it reduces the buffeting as the wind comes through there, which helps with aerodynamics, helps with noise, noise and vibration noises, keeps the car quieter. It also just generally helps with aerodynamics and fuel economy. So a lot of little design details that you may not notice in the front of this car that carry through. The rest is more styling. You've got some, on this EX trim, you've got some chrome trim around here, around the windows there. You've got the signal lights in the mirrors, nice body colored mirrors, body colored door handles. This one does have a sunroof. We'll show you that a little bit later. As we move along, you've got nice smooth lines here. Just, you know, not a lot of real aggressive stuff, but a real clean line car. And I think that's really good. I think a lot of cars have almost overstyled themselves, and I think that's going to be out of style within a couple years. Anytime you see something really aggressive, sometimes it gets out of style very quickly. So smooth, clean lines. The wheels on this car are the 17-inch wheels. At this point, it's the largest wheels we have on this car. So 17-inch alloys. I think they look really sharp. I think they're a classic design. And yeah, just really nice details with the front of this car. We're gonna head to the back, check out some styling there, and talk about some practicality as well. So the back of the car continues sort of that clean line kind of look. You can see a real mirrored image on the front. You've got your taillights up here, signals down here. A lot of people think these are really controversial, but I think when you see them in person, they're not that far away. It's not like somebody's not going to see them. I really like the look of that. I think it just makes a lot of sense. You get some clean lines through here. These are LED lights on the EX Plus. Now again, they sometimes will flicker in a video, just like you saw at the front. I didn't turn them on for this part because we are going to do a video of this car at night. We're going to show some of the lights. And again, the EX Plus model, these are LED lights. And you do have some trim up through here. It kind of runs around there. Looks really sharp, and that's how I say we're going to do it at night where you can really see it. But yeah, clean lines, signals in the bumpers there, nice sort of diffuser down there, aerodynamic styling. You do have a bit of a spoiler look down here. Now that's not uncommon, a lot of cars are doing that, but there's a few other details here. Even in the taillights here, there's a little triangular piece here that's still square. Helps with aerodynamics, helps the wind come off cleanly. And fuel economy is a big thing with this one. This car can get 5.9 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway, so that's a really good thing. And a lot of that is due to that IVT transmission we talked about, but also due to aerodynamics. So the trunk, the back end, I'm going to show you the key fob while we're here. Key fob looks really cool. Try to get it sort of focused up there. Looks a lot like our, where are we? There we go, Stinger key fob. So you've got a nice sort of unique key fob. And what that does is it kind of looks like a little detonator in your hand. The lock button's right by your thumb. You can do unlock in the trunk. So I'm going to hit the trunk button right here. We'll just sort of maybe show you that again. Trunk button is on the bottom there. I'm going to hold that trunk button here, and of course the trunk pops up. I really like that. One thing about the Forte, it's always had a big trunk, class leading trunk. So if you're looking for a lot of space, you know, everybody's thinking you need an SUV for space, but I almost can't reach the seat there. So you've got a ton of space in depth. And the other thing, it's usable space. A lot of people will quote trunk space in liters. And of course, liters is if you were to fill it with water or fill it with sand, technically you have that space. But this is really usable. You've got very little intrusion with the suspension and the wheels in the area, and a lot of really usable space. So that's important if you're gonna be packing stuff. Maybe you're taking, you know, all kinds of things in here. You have a lot of space. You can fold down the rear seats by pulling over here. That works really well as well. But big thing to know is a big trunk. If you're looking for a really big trunk, Forte's got one of the biggest ones in the class. Last I checked, it was the largest trunk in its class. So, you know, something to be aware of. The other thing I really like is Kia does something smart here. They put a little pull handle here. So I think this matters more in Canada than anywhere else. Cars get salty in Canada, we know this. And the salt is actually very abrasive. So when you sit there and slam the door from here, you run your fingers and slide them off, you're actually running the risk of scratching the paint, which of course can cause issues. Kia puts a little handle in here, you pull that down, oops, if I pull it a little harder, pull that down there, and it works perfectly to shut that. So really smart trunk, large trunk. I think it works really well. And again, clean lines on the back. Now we're gonna move to the back seat, then we're gonna head over to the driver's seat, and we'll take a look at some of the features in this car. So the back seat of the car is an area that Kia has always done well. They've always remembered the rear seat passengers, and the couple things that I like. First of all, the doors open really wide. You can sort of see it in the shot there. I kind of left it in on purpose because they open really wide. If you've got car seats that you're putting in and out of the car, or even adults, having a door that opens wide makes a huge difference in just being able to do the things you need to do back here. The other thing Kia does well is they create headroom. Even in a small car, there's so many SUVs even, which are these squared box styling, that don't have headroom. Kia's got tons of headroom here. So I'm about 6 feet tall. This driver's seat is set to where I would have it to drive, and I've got tons of knee room, and I've got tons of headroom. Very, very comfortable. Proper seating angle on the back of the seat, good visibility in and out of the car. Just things that make sense. My legs aren't up, my knees aren't up, you know, in my chest. They're on the seat the entire way. So lots of foot room underneath the seat. The seat's not too low. Just makes sense and it works. So you can fit an adult in here. If you've got child seats, you've got wide opening doors. So let's talk about this EX Plus model a little bit. This is still a cloth car, so I like cloth in a car. I'm a fan of cloth. But one thing it has in here is on the back side of the seats, instead of having cloth, it's got plastic. Now I've got kids, and I can tell you this is a lifesaver because your kids are gonna walk in here with wet, dirty, muddy, every kind of stuff on their feet, and they're gonna touch this as they go through, and they're gonna do things. The plastic allows you to just wipe it down. Makes so much sense. I love that Kia does that. This one here, it's got a netted pocket. In the EX Plus model, you've got heating ventilation controls back here, so you can open the vents, close the vents, aim them, of course. You've got a little bit extra detailing in the door, so we'll try to show you a picture of that now. A little bit extra stitching. I love the way the speakers, they have a speaker grill that kind of just stylistically runs right into the armrest. You've got soft armrests on the side on these doors here, so they're comfortable on your arms. You've got a center armrest as well here. And the thing I think Kia does well with their center armrests, a lot of these armrests sort of flop down to the seat and they're not really useful for an adult. This falls readily to hand, your elbow's right there. You've got cup holders in here. You've also got bottle holders in the door, so you can do those kinds of things. Just a really practical, comfortable back seat, whether you're an adult or a child. And that's sort of the thing with this car. You get all the features of what you used to have on larger cars and luxury cars in a compact car. And you're not making sacrifices for this compact car. You can fit the people you need to fit in here. You can get the fuel economy you want to get, because that's maybe why you're buying a compact car. You get the performance you want, but you also have the space, and the space to take adults is, I think, a big thing in a compact car. Let's move to the driver's seat. We've got a bunch of features to go over. Again, a little bit longer review this time, but we're going to try to show you as many features as we can. So it's the driver's seat of this car that really starts showing its class-leading features, and that's really what you have to know about this car, is it really has class-leading features. Every car, whether it's a base model or not, has a couple features that I think will surprise you. Heated seats, both sides, 3 levels of heated seats, and a heated steering wheel, and this big 8-inch screen that's got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. That's standard on every Forte, even the base model, standard. So when that's your starting point, this EX Plus moves things up, nicely. It's got a number of features. We talked about the launch edition. This one has dual zone climate control, dual zone automatic climate control, and this won't have in the future. It'll just be a normal climate control system. But you start looking at features. I mean, you got basic things. Let's even just start with the seats. The trim level, everything you see in this car, they are cloth seats, but they've got some extra stitching on the side. They're long seats, they're height adjustable. They are manual seats in this trim level, the EX Plus, but they are height adjustable, good lumbar support, good side support, and good support underneath your legs. So really good seats, not like a low level seat in any way. You've got extra stitching on the door, and even the way the speaker grills, again, go into that armrest. I think that looks really sharp, so good design details, a clean look to the front. Nobody has told me that this screen is the same screen that's in the Kia Stinger, but I mean, it's the same screen as the Stinger. I mean, it's as clear as it is. It's an 8-inch screen. I've been in a high-end, Cadillac recently, so a GM vehicle with their large screen, and it's nowhere near as clear as it is in this Forte. So, I mean, that's just incredible little details that they put in. This car is really aiming to be a class leader for value, but also for features. So I really like the clean look of the grille. The vents here are very much reminiscent of the Stinger, so they look very similar. They actually function the same way too. A lot of people don't know that when you spin these Stinger vents from the inside, they actually turn off the vents. These ones look a little different when you spin them, but they work the exact same way. You can turn off the vent by spinning them. Clean, simple design, looks really sharp. So let's talk about some other basics. You got tilt and telescopic steering wheel, so you can get comfortable whether you share this car with someone else. If you're larger, smaller, you can find a way to get comfortable. A lot of little features that you wouldn't expect. When we talk about features that are available in every car, so the very base car is a manual transmission. Everything from that point up is an automatic transmission. So the next step up includes an automatic transmission. Once you get the base car with the automatic transmission, you also get a little camera up here. That camera does a couple things for you. One is lane keeping assist. Now this kind of blows people's minds. It means this car is capable of steering itself. Now, of course, you can turn it off. A lot of people get scared when they hear that. What they find when they use it, though, is it's super helpful. So lane keeping assist is a lane departure warning system, so it warns you when you're leaving the lanes. It also has the ability to steer the car once you brush up against the lane marker to steer it back in. Now you can set it to the active setting, which keeps you centered in the lane. Now here's where it's useful. If I'm driving along, I've got Apple CarPlay up, Android Auto, I get a text message. The first thing I do is glance. We've been programmed to do this now, rightfully or wrongly. What the nice thing is that lane keeping assist, if it's active and it does need certain parameters to work, we have a video up on our website, 2019 Kia Forte lane keeping assist. Check that out on our YouTube page. But what that means is when it's active and when it works, when you do touch the screen, glance at the screen, the car will stay centered in the lane. that's going to avoid accidents for you. I mean, that's a huge safety feature, and I've gotten totally used to using it in the active setting, so it's there, keeps you centered. If you were to steer past, it just feels like you're going over a slight ripple in the road. And again, you can turn the system on and off, but it's a system I leave on all the time. I think it works really well. So there's that. You've also got, on this EX Plus model, you have blind spot detection. So of course that warns you in your mirrors. If there's anything in your mirrors or anything in your blind spot in your mirrors, you have a little orange light that lights up. The other thing it does, if you signal and there is somebody in your blind spot, the car is going to beep at you, which is helpful. The other thing that blind spot detection does, every Kia with blind spot detection has what they call rear cross traffic alert. Now, a number of years ago, we've done a video on this. I think it was a Sportage or maybe a Sorento. So rear cross traffic alert, you can look for that on our YouTube page. The simple thing is what it does is when you're backing out a parking spot, let's say I can't see beside me because there's a van parked beside me and I can't see what's coming until I clear that van. In my backup camera, it will show me if there's somebody walking up, approaching it, or driving up, approaching, from which side they're coming. It'll just have some little arrows and some beeping to warn me that somebody's coming from that side, you better watch out. So it uses the same radar system for the blind spot detection, but it uses it in reverse when you're in reverse, and you can see that it's a super system. So again, features, 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 features. This car has wireless inductive charging. What does that mean? It means I can take my cell phone out, set it on this custom tray here, which is separate from the lower tray, and if my phone is equipped with wireless charging, it will charge my phone simply by setting it on there. Now you may think, okay, my phone doesn't have that. Several phones already do, and you're gonna keep this car for 5 years, 8 years, 10 years. You can get a phone with inductive charging where you just set it down there and it charges. And the thing I like about this tray is it fits a cell phone. It's designed for one, so it's not gonna fly around. It's got a nice grippy tray, it's tilted forward, so it keeps it in there when you're accelerating. Just makes a ton of sense. What else can we talk about? There's so much. Automatic headlights, that's standard on every car, every Kia Forte. This one in the EX Plus, again, this is sort of an appearance and trim package. I reach up, I see a sunroof, I really like that, but you also see, in this car, you'll see some white lights on the inside, on the interior lighting. Those are white LED lights. They make it look really rich at night. We're gonna do a nighttime video showing all the lights on this car, inside and outside, because I think it is a cool looking car at night, so we'll do that soon. But you get those nice, rich looking white lights in here as well. This car is so well equipped. It's got great value. This is a car, if you're looking at a Mazda 3, if you're looking at a Volkswagen Jetta Golf, if you're looking at a Civic or a Corolla, drive this car, because you will be amazed at the feature content. We've sold Fortes for a while, good value car, good solid car. Kia's reliability ratings, whether it's JD Power, Consumer Reports, are sky high right now. So other dealers will try to tell you, oh, it's got Toyota reliability, Honda reliability. Well, right now, Kia's reliability and initial quality scores are higher than those brands, depending on which study you look at. But we're right there, no matter which quality or reliability study you look at. Kia's right at the top. This car is, I've said it before, Kia's gotten really serious with their small cars now. Let's take one final look and we'll close this video up. So this is one of the most in-depth walk-arounds we've done for our cars, and it's sort of a test to see if you like these longer videos, if you want to see the odd longer video like this. We haven't even talked about drivability of this car, the high-strength steel in this car, the way it handles, the way it dives on braking compared to its competitors. It's really solid and stable, the way it's flat around corners. All those things are things we haven't covered, and we could probably do that as well. But what else have we missed? What do you want to know about this car? Let us know in the comments below, because we're going to make a series of shorter videos to go over all the things that we haven't covered. We're excited about this car. We want to be a leader on this car. We've been a leader on Stingers because of a lot of our videos. We've been a leader on a lot of our other vehicles because of some of these videos. So help us become a leader on this car by telling us what you want to see. So thanks everybody for watching. If you're interested in this car and you're in the GTA, give us a call, 519-304-6542. Visit us online, brantfordkia.ca, and come test drive the 2019 Kia Forte.